So, listen, where we live at, okay, they've implemented a curfew for like the third time, what basically means nobody could be out after 8 p.m. And they're enforcing it. They're giving out large, steep fines. Initially, when they put this thing out, even homeless people were not going to be allowed to be outdoors. It was crazy. COVID dropped, they put out all these vaccines, and then all of a sudden the third wave's coming. Now they're like, we're going to put back the curfew, shutting everything down. It's been a year, guys. It's been officially a year. And so now, Preach, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the latest curfew?
The problem that I have is I don't have any problem with any of the rules and regulation that you install. That is okay. That is all right. Do you boo-boo by all means. The problem that I have with it is the lack of consistency. You're going to shut down the gyms. You're going to shut down the beauty parlors, all of that good stuff, the yoga places, all of that. You're going to shut all of that. The places that had no cases, the restaurant, the places that had no cases. When you were sitting in a restaurant, you had plexiglass and everything. No cases in restaurants, right? Since whenever we started back and everything. No cases in the gyms. You're going to shut that down. But if you take public transportation, and I'm talking about the bus, nobody's 2 meters away. Nobody's 2 meters away in the metro. What are you saying? When you shop, place full of people, no 2 meters. It's okay in the bus, it's okay at the supermarket, but it's not okay in the gym. When in the gym, the point of the gym is to go in, wash your hands, then you go to your place, you wash your hands, then you do your exercise, you wash the machine. That was before COVID. Before COVID, you had to wash the place where you were at. Now with COVID, there's some people that were not doing before COVID. I get that and everything and stuff. But now since COVID, there's a little bit of, hey, you know what? If I don't want this thing to shut down and I had it for a long time, I need to clean my. So the people are cleaning their spots and people are watching each other clean their spot. Why are you shutting everything down? It's not even proven. It seems like you want to choose science whenever you want to choose science, right? Oh, you know what? The science shows that we have to listen to science. We have to listen to science. So there's a new wave. There's this that's happening. There's that. Oh, science shows that the curfew doesn't do anything. Fuck the science. Whenever the hell you want to choose science, you choose science. When you don't, you don't. It makes no sense. You're inconsistent with your stuff. It's crazy.
This is interesting on so many levels. My first problem, there's no scientific evidence to back the fact that any of this works. None. In fact, in other countries where they've not implemented any of these curfews or any of these hotel quarantines, some of their cases are comparable or even lower, even if you can account for population size. So I say, okay, well, if there's no science behind it, what is the point of this? And you realize that most aspects of this pandemic and how they've handled it have been super politicized, meaning they're doing things for the next election cycle so they can look like they're handling things well. But clearly, from the vaccine rollouts, they haven't handled it well. Clearly, from how they've managed old people homes, they haven't handled it well. And they have the audacity to get on night television all these times and say, it's your fault. You didn't do enough.
You know what the worst part is?
And I'm like, bitch, you're the one who compromised the old people's homes. You're the one who asked everybody who's a business owner to change the way they set up their business to accommodate social distance. So people put money into buying plexiglasses and all these like crazy setups to accommodate you. And then what happened a couple weeks later? You still shut them down. So you asked them to invest all this money and you still them over. You constantly talk about social distancing, all these other things. Okay, cool. People jump on board with that. Things don't go well. It's somehow our fault. Or maybe, hypothetical here, maybe this is too far gone. And all this posturing you're doing is only making things worse. You guys think curfews work because they say so? There's zero scientific evidence, and they will say this themselves, but they still impose it. They expect you to stay inside, compromise your mental health, compromise your physical health, because this pandemic has been terrible for people physically in a lot of different ways because of a practice that they're not even sure works. It goes even further. Now they have hotel quarantines, okay? I know Tucker Carlson called it internment camps. I'm not going to go that far. But if you leave the country and you come back, you have to pay $2,000 to $3,000 to stay in a hotel for 3 nights, get a bunch of tests at your own cost before you can even be allowed to leave and to go back to your home and to quarantine there. Keep in mind, you can test negatives 3 days before you leave, right? You have to go get a test done before you fly back home. After you do this test, you fly, you land, you have to take another test. And then you have to send the hotel and wait. Despite the fact that these hotels have been fleecing people, not providing them with good food. In fact, there's even violence that's been recorded at these hotels. People still expect people to do that. And I'm like, who do you think this affects the most? Poor people. Motherfuckers who's got money, like, whatever, I'll stay wherever I want. That's not an issue. And here's how stupid it is. These hotels, this rule only exists at airports. If you want to drive in, you don't even have to go out of hotel quarantine. So what's the point of this rule? What are we doing right now? We're implementing all this stuff. Why? From what it looks like on the outside, be honest with you guys, politics. People want to get reelected. They can't afford to say we're not doing enough because if people die, like, it's your fault. So now they're going to do anything. They'll put in whatever rule that they saw someone else put in to make it look like they're being tough on safety. And then they're going to blame you, the public, for the mistakes that they made. The audacity.
You know what? Go ahead.
I want to play a video.
I'm asking that question. Can anybody at PHAC table data that shows that quarantining at a hotel is better from a public health perspective than quarantining at somebody's house? Could you table with committee the data on adherence to quarantine for the last year? Does that data exist?
Mr. Chair, we'd be happy to take that question back to the department and bring forward information with respect to adherence to quarantine measures that's available. Thank you.
Was that data used in informing the decision to make people quarantine at a quarantine hotel, which I note in the main estimates is going to cost $250 million. So what data was used to inform that decision? $250 million. What data was used? Anyone? I mean, it's just $250 million. I mean, what's that between friends, right? Anyone? Any data? No?
Thank you, Ms. Rampel-Garner.
21 people there, all elected officials, people working for the highest levels of government, not a single response. And that's where we're at today. That's where we're at today. And listen, at some point, we just got to be honest with ourselves. Is the juice worth the squeeze?
What's wrong with the juice?
I'm off the boat. I'm not squeezing the juice. I don't know whatever metaphor you want. You lost me.
Oh,
you guys lost.
A long ass time ago.
Long time ago. But I'm saying it publicly.
You know what the thing is?
We did this for a year.
You know what the thing is?
A little bit longer. Get the vaccine. No. Okay. Ooh. At some point, gonna live their lives.
Yep.
Okay. And you're not gonna like it from me, but guess what? I'm just a person saying it. The folks out there believe it. So you guys can have whatever opinion you want about me. Mm-hmm. I'll take that.
Yep.
But out there, that's what they're thinking. They don't see the logic. And if you ask and you poll people, are they happy with the response? A lot of them are like, I don't know. A lot of them are going to feel that way. So that's my thoughts process.
There's a lot of problems that happen in the health system here. The worst part of that, in 2002, the person that was in charge of the health department was the prime minister that we had now. So all the problems that we have with the health system, he could have done something back then, but it wasn't done. It was not done. So you saw this thing coming, this train wreck come. You didn't do nothing.
You know,
come on now.
And I get it. People are afraid. People want to be safe. But just because you're afraid and safe doesn't mean taking any form of action is better than inaction. And at some point, I would argue a lot of these measures that we've taken are hurting us more than they're helping us.
Definitely.
Okay? There's going to be a huge physical, monetary,
mental,
right, that we're going to have to pay. We're going to have to pay that price. And if people are going to look back and say, this was worth it, I'm going to disagree vehemently. That's just my thought process on it. So,
this is like Vietnam.
What you mean?
They went in, they made everybody believe that we won the war, that America won the war.
Yeah.
We didn't win.
Yeah, and afterwards,
Afterwards, later on, when the reports came out, it was pretty bad, this is what it is.
Yeah.
What it is.
So that's my thought process on it. You guys have failed and you've eroded public trust. So that's my thought process on all this, on this whole topic. That's what I think. I'm over it. I'm not gonna lie, man, America's freedom sound really great right now. Anything else you want to add? Man, the amount of people who've lost their businesses, people who've lost their minds in this thing.
Calling people crazy for opening up, and now look at them. They're not so crazy now.